This is First GenXers.
Poetic beats, poetic beats, poetic beats, poetic beats. Hello all, and welcome to today's edition of Le Cheap Pop Podcast. Since WWE is in Europe, so are we, and that's the new name, Le Cheap Pop Podcast.
Why not Cheap Pop Royale?
Cheap Pop Royale.
Well, that's even worse. And that's
As long
even
as
worse. Come on,
and
now.
and as long as I'm a part of a show, it'll be a Royale with cheese, brother. Anyway, what's up, y'all? Well, I'm kind of opening with a hard smile because of what we're going to be opening the show talking about. For those of you who don't know, I believe this was just announced. Was it yesterday or day before? I believe it was yesterday. At the ripe age of 76, we lost former heavyweight champion of the world, master of the grill, George Foreman, a man who did so many different things with his life. You got to ask which George you talking about when you talk about George Foreman. Are you talking about the man that was the heavyweight boxer and won the heavyweight championship at the ripe old age of 46? Or are you talking about the guy with the grills that always had a smile on his face? Are you talking about the guy that was a preacher for 10 years? George Foreman was a lot of things to a lot of different people, and we definitely lost a good one here. Not to say we haven't lost a lot of good ones so far in 2025, but we lost a good one. Your thoughts on the passing of George Foreman, gentlemen? Ruben Squire, kick us off.
I'm not a big boxing guy, but even Foreman was, I remember the ABC Wide World of Sports back before pay-per-views were a thing, catching a little bit of the Ali Foreman Smackdowns after the Rumble in the Jungle. And, that's the heavyweight boxing right there. But, it's, a shame when any good person passes away, and Foreman was definitely a good person. And I've been seeing a lot of tributes online where it's, Foreman, Ali, and Frazier all gathered together in the afterlife, getting ready to watch over the next and future generations of boxers.
Saint, your thoughts on the loss of a good
Well,
one?
let me just put it to you like this. This man, up until a point, defined what is the sweet science. You understand what I'm saying? George Foreman, of course, we know about the Rumble in the Jungle and so forth. The famous, fight that, where Ali, defeated him. And that'll be long remembered. But in terms of the second comeback, like he did, recaptured the championship at 46 and still held it down for quite a while. It's a testament to his career, point blank. You know
Well, I
what I'm
mean,
saying? Like, I mean,
Some of the
he took
greats.
down some of the greats.
yeah,
Okay,
Yep.
you had Ken Norton, you had let me see, Ken Norton, you had Evander Holyfield. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm gonna paraphrase a quote, and I say
damn,
paraphrase because I'm gonna use it completely wrong. But this man, like you say that legends, icons, and goats are born of. Can you write the history of a sport without them? I do not think, and it's going to sound cheesy as hell because probably everybody said it. You probably heard 10 million people say it on ESPN, but you cannot write the story of the sport of boxing without including George Foreman.
hmm
Like the man was the epitome of rags to riches and coming. We started at the bottom, now we here. Before he became a boxer, he was robbing people, like he was a mugger, and he decided to stop doing that and went into the military and learned how to box and became a great man and just decided instead of continuing to put the negativity out into the world that he was putting out by being by being a thief or a mugger, he decided to reverse that and put nothing but positivity out there. And I think for the last 50 some odd years we've been blessed to have a man like George Foreman in the
yeah,
ring. the
and
man the man is like 76-7. Like bottom line is like he fought 83 times and won 76 of them, and 68 were by knockout.
hmm
The man understood the game inside and outside of the ring, and I don't think anybody's touching him. I'm not saying he's the goat. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
it's
if
like,
you can talk about the greatest and not mention George Foreman, then you've got a big hole in your argument.
yeah,
Go on there.
it's like trying to name the greatest guitar player of all time.
There's too many of
It's
them.
all, it's too many. It's all subjective.
Yeah.
At best, you're going to get it down to a top five that's interchangeable in position.
That all
Same thing.
people can
I mean,
agree with and say, all right,
yeah,
those five are the best five. Yeah, I
yeah.
feel you.
And let's, remember, as iconic as Muhammad Ali is in boxing, when he was going to fight Foreman, he knew he couldn't do his usual just knock him the fuck out.
Yeah.
Foreman was too tough. Ali had to change his entire fight strategy to one of endurance and
Speed.
let Foreman wear himself down to get to
Saint,
that
thoughts?
that win.
Sorry, you look like you got something on your mind, Saint. Thoughts? No?
huh?
All right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, George Foreman, man, may he rest in peace. And I have to say this: if you grew up in my generation and at no point in your entire life did you ever have a George Foreman grill in your house, you're missing out. I got one in the cabinet right now.
Yep.
Like, like the bottom line is Foreman grills were dope as hell. Um, I remember living with two of my best friends. We all studied martial arts together. Our Foreman grill, like I had a little miniature Foreman grill. My mom, when I moved in with them, my mom had bought. She had the smaller one that she had had for like 3, 4, or 5 years, and so she went and got the bigger one, the big one with the bun warmer on top and everything, and she gave me the small one. So I took it with me when I moved into this roommate situation. We wore that thing out. Matter of fact, it still worked because I believe it's still in my storage right now in one of my tubbies. Like it
Oh,
still worked, but it still works. But it was just we wore that thing out. We used it for everything. So everything except for bone-in chicken. uh, but anyway, like I said, George Foreman, rest in peace, brother. Like you will always be fondly remembered as an amazing human being. And so, and trust me, there's still guys out there like Andre Ward that rep the sport of boxing extremely well. And so I think Tyson Fury does a pretty good job of it too. But not Jake Paul. Never Jake Paul. Never you, Jake Paul. Could I beat you in a
We
boxing
we
ring? No.
we don't
But do I
discuss
like
Jake
you as a
Paul.
human being? No.
No.
I don't. I
We
don't.
don't
Neither of the
discuss.
neither
We
of the
don't
Paul
just
brothers.
we don't discuss. Well, I will say this. Logan Paul, I really don't like, but I have to respect him because of the simple fact, just like Bad Bunny,
Oh
he
yeah,
didn't
they put in
showed
the
his
work.
ass. Okay,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but the box, no. Jake, no, no, no.
And
That's
that
one of the
fiasco
reasons
that was
why.
that Tyson fight. Anyway,
Yeah, no. I just want to beat up. I just want to buy the DLC for Undisputed and just like every boxer just taking him out. Yeah.
Oh, I want to see. I want to see. When there's a good ceasefire, I want to see the Klitschko brothers return
yeah.
and beat Jake Paul's ass.
Oh yeah. Any one of the Klitschko brothers, they
Yeah,
all
either
skilled
one of
enough.
them. Yeah,
So
Now they're politicians, dude.
yeah, I know.
dude, they're
Hey,
so
Manny Pacquiao is a senator too. He
but
still boxes from time to time, at least
they're
once or
Yeah.
still.
twice, at least once or twice every couple of years.
Yeah, both the Klitschko brothers are in Ukraine on the not in the
Front
front
line.
lines, but
Yeah.
in the support roles in there.
Wow.
They are literally fighting for their home country.
So well, I say this: do what you got to do, brother. When they on your land, you do what you got to do. Go
Yep.
get them. All
All
right.
right.
So that's gonna take us into our first segment of the day, and some people's favorite segment. And that is Pop Culture Corner. Oh yeah. All right, y'all. All right. So let's open up with what we always open up with. Quick disclaimer to anybody watching. Not ever to discourage you from watching the show, but we are about to go into a full spoiler, detailed review of Daredevil Born Again episode 4. So if you don't
Yeah.
want spoilers, put us on mute for about the next 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes or so, or about 15, 20 minutes, and or if you're watching this on
Go.
replay, just skip ahead. But there it is. So we warned you.
Yeah.
If you stick around, not on us. Anyway, so so
That's
this
fuckery.
episode was was very interesting.
Yes,
We
that's
saw
putting
that.
it mildly.
Yeah, we saw that Vinny D is having some. Uh, we saw that Vinny D is having some grand plans with the city of New
Yeah.
York that he
Yep.
wants to do. We found out that I agree with both Saint and Rune Scryer's speak last week that most likely somehow his niece is going to end up becoming the new White Tiger.
Hector Ayala. Yeah.
Yeah, Hector Ayala's niece. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that anger in that little girl.
Yeah.
Oh, that fire was there.
They're setting her up, but she's still going to have a ways to go before she would even appear in like a Young Avengers show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But Young Avengers is a few years off, isn't it?
Uh,
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah, I want
We'll
to say
see.
it's like 3, 4 years off. I want to say Young Avengers is in like 2027, 2028, something like that.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
got time. They got time. And
Okay.
they don't actually have to use the same actress. They can just get an older actress that looks similar to her
Sure.
and,
Yeah.
and insert her as,
Yeah.
since they've already established the character now in Daredevil.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, Hector's niece meets Matt down at the coroner's office, and Matt keeps her from seeing the body because she really doesn't need to see that, and he understands her rage better than a lot of people would, and he knows what she's feeling and the path that she's wanting to go down.
Nobody's
And
going to do anything about it because they're the fucking cops. Oh my God, I felt that
yeah,
shit. Right in here, I
yep,
felt that shit.
yep, yep.
Saint, you got any words on that open?
Look, my whole thing. I have to really look at this just pretty much the entire series as this is like Netflix, Netflix 2.0 because the drama is real. It's just
Oh, it's
like
cranked up to
you feel it, it's like no, it's past like 15, dude.
11. For
Okay.
sure.
That's
It's
like
it's it's a,
5 cups of coffee and 6 espressos is not enough.
it's
It's just that
no,
wired.
Yeah.
it's the teaser for Spinal Tap 2, where they're going across the amplifier, and all the knobs are labeled to 11, except for the last knob that gets cranked up, and the final number is infinity.
Infinity.
Yeah.
Yep. Like the drama
Like,
definitely got cranked up on this one. Like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
one hundred
yeah.
percent.
yeah, but I
Um,
am enjoying I have been enjoying the courtroom, the
Yeah.
courtroom parts of it. And,
mhm.
looking at like an episode of Law and Order on some procedural shit.
Hmm.
But yeah, I
That
really
that brings me
look.
to my favorite. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to. Uh, sorry if I cut you off, bro. But
Oh, no problem.
I'll say that brings me to my favorite part of the episode, which was uh, that I forget the dude's name, the black dude that was in jail, and he's like, and Matt's trying to explain to him, like, dude, like,
Oh
you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
get 30 days, like, at the looking
yeah,
at your rap sheet, like, as many times you'd have been in and out, they didn't give you a pass, like, nah, dude. He's like, get me probation, get me probation. Matt Murdock
yeah,
is a pimp G and should never be messed with on any level
yeah,
therefrom with the way he
yeah.
worked that DA.
He
Like,
got he got her from a 30-day stretch in jail to like 10 days
mm-hmm. He
and
got her down to
probation.
10 days. And
Yeah,
every point she had was right. That was the
yeah,
crazy thing about it. She said nothing wrong and he still talked her down to 10
yeah.
days.
Because because Matt is the biggest man whore in the MCU next to Tony Stark. Okay?
Well, you can't
We
say that because
know that.
Tony flirts with everybody, but Tony only been with Pepper. You know what I'm saying? Like Tony only really
Nah,
been with
no,
Pepper.
no, no,
Yeah.
no. Tony was,
And the
come on
reporter,
before. Yep, come on, let's go.
the very first Iron Man film, you
Uh,
got Tony and that reporter knocking it
that would be
in
the
the parlor.
Playboy and the billionaire Playboy,
Remember,
right?
remember how she conveniently took out the trash. So you got to
Yeah,
remember, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Oh man.
no, but Matt, and all the this is one of the things I really like about that scene is that there really is no wrong point of view here, where Matt's asking for mercy.
Yes.
The ADA, she is trying to apply the letter of
Of the
the
law.
law,
Do her job.
and dude in jail is right in that the system is absolutely
Yeah.
stacked. I mean, he's getting 10 days in jail for stealing a box of fiddle faddle.
Oh, 5 boxes of fiddle faddle,
Five,
which for some
five,
odd reason,
yeah,
yeah, which for some odd reason deserves 10 days in jail. I would have
yeah,
thought time served, considering he had already been in the jail like three, four. It felt like three
yeah,
days.
exactly.
So I would have figured time
And
served should have been good enough, but I guess not.
right, and it points out that it's like he lost his SSI
Yeah.
because he couldn't renew it the last time that he was in jail. They wouldn't let him renew it last time that he was in jail, and it shows how the system, the cracks that people fall through,
Hmm.
and
I can see what you're
it's
saying.
a great introduction for the episode, as a great reflection for the episode's main theme of introducing the main guy
Yeah. Oh
who
yeah. Well,
believes the
they
system's failed. Yeah,
yeah. Which and what's great to me is that they bring us to in the search for what was going on with the shooting with Hector Ayala.
oh yeah, and Matt finds the casing.
Oh
He
yeah.
finds the casing, and there's a Punisher skull engraved on the casing.
Yep. Somehow that leads him down the road and to uh what is it? To John Barenthal's
Yeah,
like bunker.
he yeah, Frank is hiding out. He's got a better beard than me.
Yeah. Yeah, he
In
does.
there.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
full on urban hermit in
Yep.
here. And I was right in that
Yep.
next conversation between Matt and Frank was going to be very different
Yep.
than the one that we knew. And I just underestimated just how different it was because, man,
Wow.
that
Like that's
was
all I could say.
powerful.
Yeah.
Because
Like, yeah. Go ahead.
Frank, Frank doing wartime grief counseling for Matt in there. Matt's saying, this isn't about my friend in
Yeah.
there. And Frank's like, really? It's not?
It's not
Say
about
his
it.
name then.
Yep.
Say his name.
Yep.
You can't
That
even
was.
do it because you know that you failed and they do everything but bro hug it out. Matt's crying. Frank's got a little bit of tears in his eyes in there, but yeah, the Punisher is back, and
I don't know what his role is going to be for the next what. This was episode 4, so for the next 4
yeah,
episodes. But it was
4 or 5
nice to see,
episodes. Yeah, yeah,
because I've heard they're bringing back the show for Disney Plus, aren't they? Punisher.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They
they're
are
they're
bringing back
reviving
Punisher.
pretty much all the Netflix shows from the
Yeah,
last I heard.
Mike Coulter's down.
Nice.
Kirsten Ritter is down.
I can't wait to see it. I know not everybody's happy about the dude being back as Finn, but hey,
Well, we'll
like,
see. I mean, there's more clarification on it, so I'm moderating my opinion on him, but we will see. Now, the other thing about episode 4 Born Again that I want to address
uh,
is the absolute audacity of having those school kids sing "We Built This City" for Mayor Fisk.
that was
I
pretty
mean,
That
dope.
was cringe.
I,
That
I
was
would
Yeah,
give,
cringe
I
as
would
that
fuck.
was hilarious.
I give the Latvian choir a pass because they don't know, but that's a San Francisco song.
Yeah.
Okay, the fact that New York has like dozens of songs about them that those kids could have sung.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, let's go with Jay Z. Okay, Frank Sinatra, half of Billy Joel's catalog. They could have been
No.
singing that, but no, they have to take the song that is written by, performed, featured all about San Francisco. You know, I'm not saying it's a great song.
Yeah.
It's a very
No, no,
it's a
no.
very banal song. But
I love.
Listen,
It's San Francisco's banal song.
Yeah,
Okay,
listen,
but
listen.
stay in your
Okay,
lane, New York.
Yeah,
okay. Wait.
I just love the fact that
I'm
the song
sorry.
haunted him as he went to
Oh
different
yeah,
places.
oh it
Yeah.
haunts
Hold on,
everyone.
hold on.
Go on, say.
Okay, number one, number one. Okay, first of all, Dave, and no disrespect to you, sir, but number one, we know that that particular song is really, really hated.
Oh yeah,
Okay, it is really hated. I understand that even Grace Slick
everyone hates it.
doesn't want anything to really deal with it, but it does come from the Bay,
Yeah,
sorta. You know what I'm saying? And
I know.
that's what they were just called, Starship. Thank God it was no Jefferson on it, or else we'd have
Yeah,
to roll back the entire 80s. But
yeah.
that song was cringe.
Yes.
Even the kids were not enjoying. I guarantee you, the kids were not enjoying that.
Right.
Okay, it's like, and you're right. That is a song that is not meant for New York. Okay, it really shouldn't even mean anywhere on this earth. But I digress. I digress.
Yeah.
The song, like when I heard it as a little kid, I
Yeah.
was like, okay, because they used to have this little, little thing in between whatever radio station you were part of. And I think at that time it was KFRC and,
Mm-hmm. Probably.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But no,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like we got San Francisco ripping off the theme to Arthur.
Well, true,
You know?
true. But
If
at
we
the
want to
same
talk about
time,
schmaltzy.
at the same time, when I play GTA, Vice
Mhm.
City, or play one of Jesus, man. No, I think it was either
Yeah.
Vice City or or fucking what you call it, either Vice City or San Andreas, one of the two.
Yeah,
But
Uh,
I think it was Vice City that because
yeah,
it's
but
got the '80s soundtrack. Yeah, no, we're in
yeah.
agreement. We're just expressing the agreement in different ways. But yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
we will no.
Yeah, but it does highlight the existential crisis that Fisk is finding himself in that he has everything that he wanted. He just has to deal with the bureaucracy and the red tape and having to follow procedures instead of saying do this and it gets done. And that's what he thought being mayor was going to be. He snaps his fingers, people do what he says, just like when running crime.
Yeah,
But no, he's got all these procedures, all this red tape, all these forms that need to be done
yeah,
in there, and the rest of the B script for that episode is him dealing with the reality that comes with being mayor,
right.
where you know he goes, they go to he and his advisors go to the Red Hook docks where we had the carjacking last
Yeah,
episode. He wants to do a complete revitalization of the Red
that
Hook
area.
port.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. And then he's got his Politico advisor, the lady, I think it's Sandra.
Mm,
Um, she's
yeah,
going on about, no, we need to get permits. We need
yep.
to have bids. We need to have environmental impact done on the project. And
Yep.
that. And Fisk is
They're
like, I don't
they're
care. I don't care. Get it done.
yeah. No, he's used to being kingpin. He's
Yeah,
used to just
exactly.
saying, "Go get it done," and his people worry about how to get it done, and he's not used to getting pushback from his people. But what was the really important scene to me with Fisk was the scene in the office
Mhm.
after whatever, I forget what got leaked, but something got
Oh, the
leaked.
garbage. Yeah, the garbage contract because he was
Yeah,
trying to play um, and basically give a specific garbage company
yeah,
the contract for city waste management.
yeah,
Um,
and
and he, yeah,
but the kid screws up and says it to and the kid's just like, I'm sorry, Fisk, I know I've
yeah,
lost my job, like, because Fisk is pissed, he's chucking
yeah,
shit and all of that, and the kid owns up to it, and I love it because Fisk deals, like, looks at this, and he does he it shows he's starting to understand the balance that's necessary,
right,
because he tells the kid, he calms himself down after being pissed and chucking laptops and everything. Whoever did this, you're fired. Da, da, da.
yeah,
The kid stands up, admits in front of the room full of his peers that he did it. He's sorry. He understands he has to be fired. He must pay his penance. Da, da, da. Fisk clears the room. Him, the kid, and Sandra,
Sandra,
and I love it because Sandra's like, it was my gig. He's like, okay, good, then stay here and you can get some of this too.
yeah,
But he goes off on the kid. The kid is apologizing profusely, head down. He's like, understand that even if you let me go, I'm still going to support you. I'm still going to be out there telling people that they should vote for you. Blah blah blah. And Fisk kind of has this moment where he kind of softens
yeah,
as he begins to realize, like, exactly what he says to the kid, which is, you know, I haven't had a lot of loyalty and and that in people close to me recently.
yeah,
That's a rare thing. So I'm not gonna fire you. And he brings the kid down a notch, but then at the end gives him that nice one-handed Fisk rub on the shoulder and says,
yeah.
"If you ever do anything like this again,
Again,
that will be the last thing you ever
yeah,
do." And it was that made me understand that I started to laugh and, like, okay, now he's starting to get it. Like,
yeah.
now he's starting to understand how the game is played. Saint, did you have any
And
thoughts on the Fisk situation before
Oh
before
no,
Dave
that
goes
was
again?
listen, that was just like some like almost ultra scary shit. Like, oh
yep,
my god, like this kid is gonna die here. Like, What the fuck? But
Uh,
like you said, he has to be Mayor Fisk.
yeah,
So, he lives for now.
for
Yeah.
now.
And that's James Gandolfini's kid.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that
Uh,
the young toady to Mayor Fisk is Tony Soprano's son. So
nice. And
which
then
that's a spin on
that brings me to the him and Vanessa at the
Oh yeah.
counselor again.
Oh
And
yeah.
the big reveal at the end, the big amazing reveal at the end. So you get
Yeah.
another
They
counseling
go
session.
get another counseling session
Where
where I mean I will own up to I thought that Adam was a child that she had
yeah.
while Fisk was off. I don't know if they showed this in Echo or not,
Uh,
but we find out in the counseling session that no, Adam was an extramarital affair that she
hmm
had.
While he was in jail.
Yep. And then all of a sudden he broke it off without saying anything. He just disappeared. He left. He ghosted her. And she knows that Fisk had something to do with it. She knows. And
Fisk even admits having a conversation with him.
yeah. And
Conversation.
he yeah, he even starts denying, saying he had no hand in anything like that. And then he comes semi clean and says, "We had a conversation. That's all. It
That's
was
it.
only a conversation."
I expressed my love for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
says that a lot,
hmm
quite a bit.
I made
Yep.
him understand exactly how much you mean to me.
Yep. And so, okay, so normal marriage counseling session. Um, the doctor, Matt's side piece, um,
Mad side.
asks, well,
No,
she kind of
no,
is.
no, no. Yeah, yeah. That's living with him now, though. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
established now too.
yeah. She pulls Vanessa aside after the session, holds her back a little bit, and does are you scared for your safety living with Wilson? And and Vanessa pauses for a second, and
Sweet baby.
she, yeah, no,
Sweet
no, I'm not.
child. Like,
Yeah,
trust me, if there's anybody on this planet that is safe around Wilson Fisk, it's me.
yeah,
Like, just trust me on that.
yeah,
That's paraphrasing. Like, that's not nothing weird what she said, but that's basically the
right.
look she gave her
But it's
and how her
also,
tone of voice was. Oh, sweet
but
The
it's
fuckery is real.
it's also it's not just she understanding.
yeah,
Just Fisk is never going to physically harm her.
yeah,
It's her calculating, if this fat bastard actually does do something to me, how can I get rid of him?
yeah.
You can see that in her posture, in everything. So Vanessa's got plan B's and C and D all the way through Z of
Well,
what to do.
as a woman of her stature, you do not get involved with a man like Fisk unless you have a plan B, plan C.
Exactly.
What's funny is here. Think about it like this. Even in the Godfather movies, there were certain wives of the
Yep.
gangsters that you knew they had a plan B. If shit
Hmm.
went sideways with him, they was gonna be okay. And I'm not just talking about being with somebody else. I'm talking about like they had like hundreds of thousands of dollars stashed in a suitcase somewhere with some clothes that they could go grab
Yep.
and be out of town before he knew what was going on.
Yep.
Like women in that position don't fuck around. Vanessa got a
Yeah.
plan. She knows.
I mean, you find out, like you're saying, Godfather 3, you see Connie go from the first film where she's a battered wife of a violent mobster to she is literally the power behind Michael's throne. She is the most calculating and ruthless one out of all of them.
At all.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
All right, so that
but
brings
yeah,
us to our
to
big reveal
feel,
towards the end of the episode where Fisk comes in, and I love the way they did this so beautifully.
they're
He's
doing.
he,
They got
yep,
another meal prepared for Fisk.
yep. He
You
sits
got the.
down.
I can't remember what the music is. It's a Vivaldi, I'm pretty sure, but I can't remember what piece it is. but you know what I'm talking about, the cello orchestral going through and then everyone else, and he's just calmly sitting there eating, cutting up his food, and it's all
Oh
healthier
yeah.
food. He's gone
Oh
to
yeah.
the egg white omelet, he's going to like chicken breast, salmon, all that stuff, and then we see it's in this underground like catacomb situation. And who wants to
Oh
do the
yeah.
reveal? I've
And
talked
so
enough.
he's sitting there, and he begins eating. And you hear somebody mention he mentioned something about please, Mr. Fisk, please. And I assumed it was just like somebody from his old mob days, or maybe one of the other mob
I,
bosses.
I thought it was the kid. I thought Fisk disappeared him in
Yeah.
secret.
And so he says no, Mayor Fisk, and I was like, okay. And so there's this back and forth between Fisk and a voice off screen before they flip around and show this basically like cage setup,
Yeah.
and you hear Fisk then mention the name of the person that's in the cage as Adam.
Yep.
And now we know what happened to Adam.
Yep.
Fisk has had him on lockdown. That's why he disappeared. That's why he ghosted Vanessa. Because Fisk sent him up the river.
Hmm.
Saint,
Fisk
kick us
has.
off with your
Yeah.
thoughts on the big reveal.
I was just like, my mouth was just like dropped open, like, but what? Like, but how? Like, but wait, what? Like, what part of the
And now I wonder, does Vanessa know?
wait, huh? That's the
Does Vanessa know? Because when the teacher when the therapist asked what happened to Adam, they both turned to her and said he left.
Yeah. Because
You
sure.
know,
I think that regardless of her denials, I don't think she knows. She
Nah,
knows.
she's got she's way too
She's
she's way
she's
too powerful, man. To that she's got her hand in too
we'll
many
see.
pies. She
Yeah.
knows. It's just I think we just don't want the wrong particular how can I put it?
Yeah.
Setting the balance because you already know
Yeah.
how deep the rabbit hole really goes.
Yeah. And then again, Vanessa does need Wilson. She may be running day to day operations, but still Fisk's name on the building.
yeah,
If you say for the crime,
yeah,
everything that she does, nobody's scared of crossing Vanessa Fisk for crossing Vanessa Fisk, even though they should be.
yeah.
Nobody doesn't want to cross Wilson Fisk's wife,
But I think
and
that's
that's
kind
the
of what they're.
difference.
I think that's what they're establishing now. Is I
Yeah.
think through little Easter eggs throughout each episode, they're establishing that during that time frame under which Fisk was gone and Vanessa rose to power, so to speak. Because remember, like she said, I had to keep everything afloat.
Going.
I had to give
Yeah.
them a leader. I think she's established her own level of respect and power beyond being Fisk's wife. Now, yes, of course, the grander threat is always the beast behind,
Mhm.
but I think she has a certain level. She has earned a certain level of respect amongst them for herself.
I think there's a difference between competency
Mm-hmm.
and outright threat.
Yeah,
They
I,
see her
I can
as
give it that.
they see her as competent.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, she's a chick, but she knows she knows how to run the numbers. She knows how to make make things look legit. She knows what she's doing.
yeah. And for the time that Fisk was gone, she
She's a
made them a
chick.
lot of money. She made them a lot of money.
Hey,
That's how she stayed in power, or else somebody would have tried to take her down. And who's to say somebody didn't? And she didn't put them in check.
right?
You know, so
You
because
don't
she
know.
again, like you said, the one benefit to being Mrs. Fisk is she has when he's behind bars, she has access to all of his assets.
Right, and I'm
So
sure that the thinking of all the five families right now is that, yeah, she was visiting him in jail. He was giving her marching orders.
Yeah.
Right.
He still is the power.
Yeah.
She's just the mouthpiece.
Well, no, I don't think it was like that though, because she
No,
said
no,
when
no,
he
no,
was in
no,
jail,
I'm-
they had
yeah.
no communication, which means she was doing
No,
that all solo.
Right. I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm
Yeah.
saying this is what the mobsters, the other mobsters that are falling in line, the underlings, this is what they're thinking. This is their thought pattern.
Yeah.
They're underestimating her.
Yes.
Because, yeah, they're just assuming that she received all of her orders somehow
From the big
through
man.
Fisk.
Yeah.
Okay, through the big man,
Yeah.
and that everything that she did, even no matter how ruthless it might have been, that was Fisk's orders. She didn't come up with that. She didn't authorize all that on her own.
Yeah.
She was just relaying Fisk's
With it.
orders. However, she got those orders.
I said, we'll see how that develops as the show goes on. But like I said, this week another masterful episode. So we're gonna pause right there. We'll come back. We got a few hot takes left for pop culture, about 10, 15 minutes worth, and then and then we will move on to what I know y'all really want us to talk about, which is that man in that bad red shirt turning on them people after all them years. We'll get to that later. On the other side of the commercial break, you're watching the Cheap Pop Podcast right here on YouTube or Twitch, and you can find us everywhere you find all your podcasts. All right, we'll see you after the break. Peace.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then. Get on your mark, let's go. This is now versus then. Burning up your radio, still turning up the heat with Poetic on the flow. Got you moving to the beats with the Saint as your host. Shout out the collective, hold it down, we gon' clown, that's the lesson. Where Generation X meets Generation Next, with them bangers from the east to the south to the west. Yeah, this how we do it in Sacktown. Slide to the studio, yup, it goes down. These beats gon' pound, waking the game up, told you it goes down. And this is only the intro. Turn the mics on, shout out to my kinfolk. Where you at, y'all? Let's get this started. Turn down for what? We about to start the party. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
You got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I'm being real with this. Please don't judge me, I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep a grind mode button, push it, make it do something. No balls for me, cause I'm a loose cannon. I get to choose, camera, switch it up, look up a new banner. Keep smoking on that bama.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah, come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. You can't find the love within yourself.
Hey, what's up, y'all out there in TV land or Twitch land or whatever we're doing today? My name is Dark Lord 100, aka Double KK Double. I am the host of Cheap Pop Podcast and the Classroom, as well as your favorite music show, KD5P. I'm here to tell you about the Live 365 lineup that we have coming up starting on February 3rd, Monday, February 3rd. We'll open up Mondays through Fridays with Now versus Then. Deuce, classic episode from the Blog Talk Radio days. We follow that up with an FU Wrestling podcast from Spreaker, starring myself, Double K, and your boy Cole. We follow that up with, again, me, Double K's Classroom, old sports show I used to do 30 minutes from 6:20 to 6:50. We follow that up with West Coast Bias, myself, O'Malley Duel, and Suave, bringing you sports talk from a few years back. Then we have Now versus Then. That's the centerpiece of our day at 9:35 a.m. with a classic episode of Now versus Then. And every Wednesday at 9:35, you'll get a new episode of Now versus Then Deuce from Twitch. At 12:45, you'll hear an episode of KD5P, K-Do's Fifth Period Music Class that you can hear right here on Live 365 every Saturday night. And you can hear a replay of it every Tuesday night at 12, or Tuesday afternoon at 12:45. You can also listen to at 3:20 the Cheap Pop Podcast, followed by NBT Deuce at 5:30. Great episodes. Probably the same episode from the morning. Lip Gloss and Mics has now moved to the 9:05 slot with a new episode of The Classroom on every Friday. And then we close out our night down and dirty, the Kings and Queens of Porn. That'll be every Monday through Friday right here on Live 365. Catch us at live365.com/First GenXers, or you can go to the Live 365 app, look for the First GenXers Radio Network, and that's where you'll find us. All this and more right here on Live 365. Peace.
To say Jaden Daniels has been fun to watch and getting to see him grow, because I think he is going to be a good quarterback. Yes. And so I'm happy that that is one of the Monday Night Football games that actually could be a decent game. Yeah. Yeah. I think I care more about seeing that game, and not just because of him, but I care more about that one than I do the earlier game.
All right, and it's Double K back with you again, host of the Cheap Pop Podcast in the Classroom, also your favorite music show, KD5P, and I'm here to talk to you about the Saturday and Sunday lineup. Last video we did Monday through Friday. This week we're going to do Saturday and Sunday. All these shows will be airing on Saturday and Sunday concurrently till about mid-afternoon, and then we go into two different lineups. On Saturday, Sunday mornings at 12:30 a.m., you get a classic episode of Brick House 2.0. Followed up by Lovely Radio, which is back on the air with First GenXers. And we have Mr. Deacon at 5:15 a.m. Sam Brett Radio now moves up from the 10 a.m. slot to 7:25 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. And the 10 o'clock slot now goes to Ms. Optimism, back with us again after a short hiatus. We follow that up with another episode of Lovely Radio at 12:10. And then we get Sam Brett one more time at 2:45. You get about an hour and 15-minute episode on Sundays, and you get a full 2-hour episode on Saturdays. That episode will air right before the live episode of K-Double's 5th period music class on Saturday nights from 5 to 8. Right here live on Live 365, where K-Double brings you some of the hottest tunes from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And then we close out Saturday nights with the Worldwide Wrestling Podcast from 8:15 to 11. So on Sundays, you go from Sam Brett to 4:10 The Classroom. 45-minute episode of an old version of The Classroom that we had over on Spreaker. And we'll follow that up with Dirty Talk 101 at 5:30. And we close out with 7:40, the Worldwide Wrestling Podcast, another great edition of me and your boy Cole. And then we close out at 10:10 p.m. with the sidebar. So thank you for listening or seeing me here on Twitch if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. And join us on any one of our platforms here at First GenXers and Double KK Double Network. You got 2KK2network.com, my website. You also have the twitch.tv/First GenXers, and you also have Live 365 where you can find us or you're listening to us here. And we also have for those podcast folks over on Spreaker, a place where you can find the Cheap Pop Podcast and the Classroom on podcast. And you can download it and everything. So that's it from me for this week. This time around, I'll be back again with a new schedule as of May 1st. But until then, y'all enjoy this lineup and stay up. Peace. All right, and we are back. Yes, we are back. I am Dark Lord 100. That's the Saint. This is Rune Scryer, and we are the Cheap Pop Podcast. So now let's dive back into it. Dave, you had some subjects for us. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, just two little things. First of all, it's just been announced that DC Comics is going to be putting out a new edition of History of the DC Universe. So, and it's going to be done by veteran comics writer and one of the best comic writers, really in comics history, Mark Waid. He is going to take all 90 years of DC's publishing from National Comics on out, everything that they've printed, and he is going to untangle this knot into a single continuity, one continuous thread of history. There's going to be spin-offs and multiverses and other stuff like that, but he is going to try to make sense of it. So
Okay. We tried that before.
Yep.
We tried it before in the original Crisis on the Infinite Earths.
Right.
Back in 1980, 85. And
Right.
shit changed.
Yep.
You know, Barry Allen was dead. Supergirl, they just killed Supergirl. They killed off the entire DC universe, and then they changed it into one
Right.
continuity.
Right. This is not going to be that.
Yeah, but
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
this
I,
is my thing. But hold on, before you say something, just
Go
before
ahead.
you say something, this is my thing. What's going to be taken out and what's going to be retooled? Because I do agree that it should be changed because perfect example, Cyborg. Cyborg is a key factor. His origin was retooled from something that happened to him in an accident where I think something it blew up to the
Yep.
point to where he had, built his son up to where it's been retconned so much that the technology was a part of Apocalypse.
Yep.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Boy, let me tell you, man, DC has changed the universe or has changed so many times
Mhm.
from the Silver Age, where that got killed off, to the modern age, to where it was, they tried to make it into one continuity, but somebody fucked up and accidentally bought the original 1938 Kal-El, not EL, but Kal-El, the original Superman from 1938. They made the mistake of trying to bring him back, and then they opened all those floodgates back into the DC multiverse, where Superboy was eventually the most powerful one of them all, and so forth. Like, it's been a jumbled fucking mess.
And I actually have an explanation for this. And I can't remember who I talked to. It was one of the big guys at DC. I don't think it was um, Denny O'Neil when I met him at WonderCon that last year. It was in Oakland. Um, I want to say maybe Kurt Busiek,
Okay.
but anyway, there's a reason why everything has been a jumbled mess for DC, and that's because editorials said that this is how things are going to be moving forward. Then some writer thinks, huh, you know, maybe I can slide this in here. Like, for example, Bruce Timm bringing back Supergirl in Superman the Animated Series, even though it wasn't Kara Zor-El, but he brought back the concept of other surviving Kryptonians in the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
That's what led to the actual return of Supergirl in the mainline DC universe. So, I agree that it's a jumbled mess, and the problem is that everyone keeps ignoring, well, this is how it's going to be going forward, that was agreed on prior to the most recent universal reset. Everyone keeps trying to sneak something that they like back in, and that's where everything starts going pear-shaped. And so, we had Crisis on Infinite Earths. Okay, these are the rules going forward, and then they brought in the concept of multiverses in the Superboy comic with Hyper Time. And so everyone started piling in on that, and editorial goes, oh, for fuck's sake, fine, here's how we're going to solve it moving forward, and this is how the rules moving forward, which is becomes 0 hour.
Yeah.
And then the rules that were set forth with 0 hour get ignored. So then you had Final Crisis, and then Infinite Crisis. And the problem is that there's just all this stuff that people want to bring in that just starts weakening the fabric of the established rules. So we'll see how Mark Wade gets everything untangled,
Yeah.
And that is on its way from DC. I am particularly interested in seeing what they come up with.
Yeah.
Okay, and
DC should have never started that concept in the multiverse in comics.
right.
Okay.
Well, they had a problem with the transition from the Golden Age to the Silver Age, but yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So, we have news coming out from Deadline.com that Warner Brothers is possibly making a deal with Ketchup Entertainment for an all rights acquisition to Coyote versus Acme.
Yay!
If you remember, this was the combination animated and live action film that was done with Will Forte, starring as a lawyer, representing Wile E. Coyote in his lawsuit versus Acme Corporation. Warner Brothers infamously, it was complete, and Warner Brothers shelved it to get the tax credit, same way that they did with Batgirl. Boo.
Boo.
Right, but it looks like they may be that Ketchup Entertainment may be shelling out $50 million for Coyote versus Acme. This follows up where they did the same thing and rescued the current Warner Brothers animated film, The Day the Earth Blew Up, which has been released and is doing relatively well. Yeah. So we'll see what comes of that. I just want to see Coyote versus Acme. Period.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. And any thoughts saying on that?
Nah, I'm just like
Looking
I'm
forward
really,
to it.
looking forward to it. I know that Will Forte is in it. I know that John Cena is in it as well. So, yeah, I know, like, you can't see me and Bugs Bunny and shit like that. Like,
But all right.
it could work. It could happen.
So that wrestling reference will take us out of the pop culture world and right on down. Smackdown Alley. Thank you. All right. So, Smackdown Alley is going to be filled with thoughts, opinions, and facts about the John Cena promo from Monday Night Raw. Some people liked it. Some people hated it. Some people claimed it didn't make sense. That's the one that gets me, and I'm going to start there. I don't understand how they don't get it. Like, I've seen multiple comments like, well, for the past 3 or 4 times that Cena's come back, he's been cheered. Yeah, he has, but he spent about 75% of his career being booed by half the crowd and cheered by half the crowd. And then at one point, at multiple points, booed by the entire crowd.
Real quick,
Yeah.
maybe we should give a little bit of context as to what John Cena said.
Well, no, he will. I will. Like,
No, but
yeah.
let the crowd know.
He comes out. The first thing that I love about it is we don't get a different Cena. It's all same look, Only difference is Cena is not slapping hands with the fans, smiling and running down the ramp.
And he's in red rather than blue.
Right. Well, blue. He always did wear a random assortment of colors. Red was amongst them. So, to me, that wasn't that out of place. But yeah. But he gets in the ring, and then Cena begins about a 20-minute rundown of the past 25 years and all the moments in which all he was trying to do was give them a product worth watching, and they booed him. Cena sucks. And I guess evidently, according to John Cena, it hurt his feelings. But no, really, like, it just showed he was angry about what had been done. It was kind of one of those, like, y'all ain't never liked me before. But if you wasn't there, my doctor of thugonomics, don't try to be here at my 17-time world champion. Is a paraphrase of it. But love me some Cena. Love what he's doing here. I think that it was a perfect promo in the sense that there was no back and forth between him and Cody Rhodes. He came out, he said his piece. Cody Rhodes came out, said his piece, and left. It wasn't a back and forth. Cena, you wanted the answer to why John Cena did it. John Cena took 15 minutes, but he told you.
Yep.
Cody came out, said his piece, that he was pissed off that John Cena did what he did. Told him if he brings this whiny bitch to WrestleMania, he's going to end his career. And leaves. I thought it was done perfectly. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on this exchange?
John Cena for the win. John Cena for the win. Because, look, for you to explain your beef for a good 20 minutes and you don't get it, then that means you didn't get it. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, let's face it. And I believe something in something that you pretty much kind of picked up on. Era is completely over. When John Cena, the last, still, I think, whoa.
I know.
Hey.
We're back up.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw Dark Lord stuttering. So.
Oh, okay.
No, we fell off there for a quick
second. Yeah, like, seriously, man. I think that it'll be more neutral at the end. And I think at the end, I mean, the fans are still gonna love it, but I don't see that. Yeah.
It's like this. I think this is for now. And I think we're going to find out what the big payoff is at WrestleMania. Go on, Dave.
I'm mid on the promo. I understand what Cena's trying to do with the heel turn in there. I have issues with it that go beyond the kayfabe.
Okay.
Which is that it crosses into things that real life abusers tell to their victims to justify the abuse. Okay. It's a much more manipulative version of, well, you know, maybe if you had a hot meal on the table for me when I get home from work, you wouldn't keep running into the doors.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I know that the term gaslighting gets thrown around a lot. That actually comes from an old movie. I can't remember who's in it, called Lighting or Gaslight. Watch it sometimes because it is one of the great classic psychological thrillers about manipulating a husband manipulating his wife into thinking that she is insane.
Okay.
when really he's the source of all the problems. But I digress. Um, it was effective promo because there was enough um, whining in there to make some fans say, wait a minute, we don't support you? What about the hundreds of dollars of merchandise that I personally have spent on your name and logo?
Yeah.
You didn't get a cut of that? So,
Yeah.
and that's the rational brain engaging in there, dissecting in there. I think that there's going to be, the people that, because Cena went after everyone, not just the people who chant the Cena sucks, but the people who chant let's go Cena.
Whether you like me or you hate me,
Yeah,
I'm done with you.
yeah. And so I totally understand that. Um, it's a disillusionment angle of the wrestling industry in general. And I think that that's kind of brilliant because, there are a lot of celebrities that are tired of playing the trained monkey,
Pretty much,
even
yes.
regardless of how well they are compensated. Now, do I think that John Cena is this curmudgeonly old guy who really hates the fact that he has been for years the number one um, person for Make-A-Wish Foundation? Absolutely not. I think that that's one aspect of the job that he generally enjoys doing. But
There's no
plays
reason
into
to
it.
not believe that because he didn't
Right.
have to do it. As he got later on in his career, he didn't have to do it, and he still did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed. I agree with
So
that.
like, but here's the thing I say with it. I love that response, Dave. I truly do from beginning to end because it's what I don't believe that was written for Cena. I believe that Cena came up with that thought process and that image himself. Because when you really look at Cena's career and his relationship with the fans, especially since he dropped the Doctor of Thugonomics angle, it's been one of contentious nature where people have cheered from it and eventually the crowd eventually came over to his side, but it was a long road of him and crowds not liking him and a long tenuous road that I can see how something like this has been boiling up inside of him for a while now.
Yeah.
And so for a while now. And so he's now letting it out. And what he's doing is yes, he's blaming the fans, but what he's also doing is he's not blaming them for why he is the way he is. He's just saying, you are the way you are. I've watched you do this with tons of different wrestlers. I'm just done playing the puppet for you. I'm done playing the monkey for you. And it's your own fault. Because you've pushed, and now I'm just done. I'm not gonna dance for you anymore. I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, so what? I sold out to The Rock. Here's the irony of it. If you go back and listen to the speech that Stone Cold gave when he sold out to McMahon, it's pretty much the same speech. It's done in different words, but it's pretty much the same speech. Stone Cold was like, I was tired of dancing a jig for y'all and not getting me anywhere. And yes, I do agree with you that it used a lot of techniques and a lot of unscrupulous techniques in regards to verbal manipulation, etc.
Right.
But in retort, I would only say
Right.
it's wrestling. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's the art of the promo.